this is great. This is the Dan LeBatard show, and I just paused the video with LeBatard with his eyes closed, which is really appropriate because he doesn't see reality. He's just he is a racist who can't stand white people. His parents came to America from Cuba, and he's just a resentful human being. He doesn't like the United States. He hates its history. He couldn't go back to Cuba, but I mean, he's living in Miami, living large, making a whole bunch of money. So anyways, he's going to start talking about Colin Kaepernick and the NFL protest, which the average football fan doesn't want to listen to. You know, I'm not interested in the political views of Colin Kaepernick or the other blacks who are racist, who hate white people. They hate the United States. The thing about Colin Kaepernick is he's a mulatto, and like the former President Obama, who's a mulatto, they both hate whites, even though it was because of whites they got to where they are. Kaepernick was born in the ghetto, and he was adopted by a white family, a wealthy white family. He went to good white schools, was taught by white teachers, learned how to play sports from white coaches, and did well enough to be accepted into a university where he had another white coach coach him up to be a good quarterback. And then he went to the NFL where he was coached by a white coach who made him an all-pro. And then he got so bad he was beaten out of his starting job by a white guy named Blaine Gabbert, a guy with blonde hair who's just a crummy quarterback. And so Kaepernick took advantage of the situation, you know, and because he can't take blame for playing so badly he lost his starting job. So he was hooked up with this broad who's a very racist radical who hates whites, and so she got Colin to adopt the racial attitudes and hates whites. And Kaepernick says that you can't do well in America if you're black because America's racist. But this clown Kaepernick was living as well as anybody else in the world, the top 1% of the wealthiest people in the world. That's the lifestyle he was living. A multimillionaire, had everything he wanted, and he's thrown it all away in this stupid protest against America that has provided him with a great living and a great job and great benefits and stuff. But he's a typical athlete who's an idiot, who has no gratitude, and instead of thanking whites for bringing him up out of the ghetto, he hates whites. And you're going to hear LeBatard say that the protest has nothing to do with the flag. But if you look up, you can look up online and see Steve Wyche, W-I-C-H-E, who was a NFL media reporter, interviewed Colin Kaepernick when he started doing his protest. And the very first sentence of his explanation was, he is not going to stand up, and Kaepernick will not stand and show pride in a flag because we're such a crummy country, because we're a country that doesn't treat blacks and people of color fairly, which, well, just his own life is an example of that's a bullshit thesis. But I mean, he's a stupid man. He can play football, and that's what he can do. So I don't care what Kaepernick thinks. I don't care what any other football player thinks. I turn on these games to watch you play. It's fun for me and my family. It's relaxation, and we don't care what you say about politics. But LeBatard always tries to make this point that it's really about something else. It's about injustice and stuff. No, he actually said it. He hates the flag. He won't show pride in the flag because of our crummy country. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Supposed to be doing important social commentary today about my local team, the Miami Dolphins, and what is happening with their anthem.
Important.
But I am so tired of the stupidity of this story. The stupidity of how it gets hijacked, the stupidity about how it becomes about a flag instead of racial injustice. I'm here for the racial injustice conversation. I'm not here again for the flag conversation. Football is terrible at morality, public relations. They shouldn't be in the business. That they've chosen to be in the business is laughable. And now the Miami Dolphins find themselves in the middle of this situation. And Mike, all I would ask you, as a longtime journalist in this town, as a longtime journalist who cares about this town, like, can we get Stephen Ross on the radio to explain?
No, he's not going to come on this show, you idiot.
The owner of the Miami Dolphins.
You can't even get your facts straight.
And ensnared in this.
You're a Cuban, and you're a fat Cuban that hates the whites.
Outside of the players,
Too
but
bad.
he seems to keep running into